You want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through.
What are your thoughts after hearing the indictment yesterday?
Good morning, Brian and Natalie. I got to tell you, my thoughts reading the 14-page indictment yesterday were that there are a lot of people in Hollywood who are probably worried about which Diddy parties they were at and what was going on.
What do you think about the way they're portraying Jay right now?
The things that they're saying, they're terrible. It's hard for me to even think that any of those things can be true. I don't want them to be true. Like, they're saying they're gonna pick him up next year. I don't want to see that man go to jail.
In a shocking turn of events, Sean Diddy Combs has found himself at the center of a federal indictment involving accusations of sex trafficking and other illegal activities. Denied bail twice, he is currently being held in a detention facility infamously referred to as Hell on Earth. Speculation is swirling that desperation may lead him to reveal damaging information, with many believing that a longtime friend and business partner might be the first to feel the heat. The music industry has once again been shaken by scandal, as the allegations against Diddy continue to unravel, this time pulling Jay-Z into the spotlight. The term freak-offs has become synonymous with the latest revelations about Diddy's alleged involvement in illegal activities, further intensifying the public's fascination and concern.
Alright, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is 5 minutes ago, Jay-Z in trouble as Diddy turns him in during confession. Jay-Z. Alright, this is a video coming from the channel Eric's. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
For Jay-Z set to appear in court.
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up.
I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
What?
It's 2020, y'all. And
bro, how true is that? Like, have you heard that before? I've never heard that. Jay-Z, you think Jay-Z is the person orchestrating all of this? Is that the overall theory here?
different than
what?
When it was.
And he said days long, they called them freak-offs where victims, and they were allegedly forced to sleep with male dudes. I sent you this video. Mind you, I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen these videos that are just...
These elaborate and highly secretive events, often described as drug-fueled orgies involving prostitution, have resulted in severe legal consequences for Diddy. In a dramatic twist, rumors suggest that Diddy is cooperating with prosecutors in an effort to reduce his sentence by implicating his longtime friend and fellow music mogul, Jay-Z.
Diddy's videos were being shopped around in Hollywood, and there are some stills that have been caught of somebody that is higher profile of Diddy, and the name that immediately comes to me is Jay-Z. Ariel Mitchell Kidd, attorney for new Sean Diddy Combs accuser, says that she's been contacted regarding the sale of one of Diddy's tapes. There already has been tapes leaking around Hollywood being shopped around, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they was in possession of. Mitchell Kidd, the lawyer, would not reveal who was in the tape, but says Diddy and someone more high profile could be seen. The other person in the video is very visible, and I can tell the video was pornographic. This was in his Atlanta home, definitely a man, and it does seem like the person isn't looking into the video. To me, it doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. Insanity. The celeb contacted this attorney and she's seen stills from the tape where the celebrity in question was secretly recorded, and they're more famous than Diddy. So this is a shocking, shocking accusation, probably one of the worst.
The allegations against Diddy portray him as a powerful figure who used his influence and resources to orchestrate and conceal a series of illegal activities. These so-called freak-offs were not just casual parties but meticulously organized events, sometimes lasting for days. Prosecutors claim that these gatherings were highly staged, involving the setup of lighting, cameras, and other supplies to create a specific atmosphere. Diddy, along with his assistants, managers, and security team, allegedly ensured that women and male prostitutes were present, providing them with items such as baby oil and lubricants.
The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
The charges against Diddy include sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and interstate transportation for prostitution. These serious allegations have not only jeopardized his career but also his freedom. During raids on his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, authorities reportedly seized drugs, weapons, and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. The evidence collected during these raids now forms a critical part of the federal indictment against him.
Announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges.
Federal prosecutors have built a strong case against Diddy, portraying him as someone who concealed a dark reality behind his lavish lifestyle. The indictment suggests that Diddy did not act alone but operated within a network of individuals who helped organize and execute these freak-offs. These individuals were responsible for recruiting participants, preparing hotel rooms with necessary supplies, and ensuring everything ran smoothly. One of the most damning pieces of evidence is the recordings from these events. These tapes were allegedly used to blackmail participants, forcing them to cooperate or remain silent. The existence of these recordings has added a new layer of complexity to the case, not only serving as evidence of illegal activities, but also highlighting the lengths Diddy went to in order to protect his secret life.
It made multiple calls to another victim of his sexual abuse and recorded certain of those calls under the cell phone, using the cell phone of a co-conspirator. During the calls, the defendant repeatedly asked for the victim's support and friendship and attempted to convince the victim that she had willingly engaged in acts constituting sexual abuse. The defendant also assured the victim that if she needed the defendant to, she ain't got to worry about nothing else. Quote, even more concerning, since learning about the criminal investigation, including following the execution of the search warrants at his residences, Combs contacted other witnesses on multiple occasions, including other witnesses who had received grand jury subpoenas, basically accusing him of obstruction. And by the way, the prosecution also points out that many of the crimes that Combs is accused of happened in his home. So putting him on house arrest, they would say, doesn't do much to mitigate potential wrongdoing inside his residence. Now they talk about the weight of the evidence, how much they have. Remember I said there wasn't a lot in the indictment? Well, here they talk about the weight of the evidence as a factor to consider in whether to deny bail. Quote, as to witnesses, to date, the government has conducted interviews with over 50 victims and witnesses, many of whom saw or experienced the defendant's abuse. Many of these witnesses corroborate one another, and their accounts are consistent with the other types of evidence discussed below. The government only expects that number to continue to grow, given that the investigation, which is now public, is ongoing. And also, The prosecution revealed in its filing that the government has seized more than 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, hard drives, thumb drives, cameras, a surveillance system that they say shows this criminal activity.
The turning point in the case against Diddy came with a lawsuit filed by his longtime ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura. Cassie's allegations provided the Southern District of New York with a roadmap for further investigating Diddy. She accused him of instructing her to engage in inappropriate acts with others while he observed. Cassie's detailed account of her experiences gave prosecutors a critical foundation to build their case.
Prosecutors painting a picture of the 54-year-old mogul who, behind his lavish lifestyle, allegedly hid a dark secret.
According to the indictment, the agents found weapons, including AR-15 style rifles, in Diddy's closet. The serial numbers were defaced. They also say they found recordings of freak-offs. And the evidence was then used to blackmail these women if they didn't cooperate more.
Diddy's longtime ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, filing a lawsuit against him last year that changed everything.
He would direct her how to touch the sex worker, how to pour oil over her body, and he would watch these things happen while he was masturbating.
Cassie Ventura's lawsuit gave the blueprint for the Southern District of New York to investigate Sean Combs, and the lawsuits that followed gave the brick and mortar to build the case against him.
Cassie's lawsuit was settled within 24 hours, but it opened the floodgates for other victims to come forward. More women have since filed civil lawsuits against Diddy, alleging similar experiences of exploitation. These lawsuits have not only strengthened the case against him, but also intensified public scrutiny.
As if things couldn't get any worse for embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, today a prominent lawyer came forward saying he intends to file more than 100 different lawsuits from alleged victims.
A new Diddy bombshell. Houston-based lawyer Tony Busby made the revelation today.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors.
Busby says the victims include both men and women, and he says some of them were minors.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
As the investigation into Diddy's activities deepens, Jay-Z's name has surfaced in the allegations. Rumors and speculation suggest that Jay-Z might have been involved in these freak-offs or, at the very least, aware of them. The possibility of his involvement has added a new layer to the scandal, as Jay-Z is one of the most powerful and influential figures in the music industry.
Guys, really quickly, Jay-Z really has not been, I don't know, involved in anything like that, at least from what we've known. All right, to keep this in mind here. But obviously, as Diddy is now, being looked at by the FBI and all these other agencies, right? The U.S. Attorney of Manhattan, I think the most logical thing going forward is that he is going to most likely try to get out of this. He offered a $50 million bail package, and they turned that down. Right? $50 million is nothing to this man. Nothing. Okay. But the fact that they turned that down, of course he's going to now start talking all types of crazy. But again, I have never heard anything about Jay-Z being involved in anything weird. So this is why I'm just so shocked at the entire revelation here.
Now, you might be asking, how did we get here? How did Jay-Z, one of the most powerful men in the music industry, get caught up in this?
Diddy is reportedly cooperating with prosecutors in an effort to reduce his sentence, which involves providing information about other high-profile individuals who may have been involved in illegal activities. As one of Diddy's close associates, Jay-Z is a prime target for such allegations. If Diddy can provide evidence implicating Jay-Z, it could significantly impact his own legal situation.
Individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop
a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
To be honest, a lot of people, but the options are J-Lo, Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z are some of the few specific options that people are talking about. So it's a wild accusation. The lawyer has said she has seen stills. The lawyer has said that she knows who this person is who's representing one of the victims, and this basically means to me that other people are definitely going to be going down and that this is going to be public knowledge real soon, is what she said. So we need to be locked, loaded and prepared for when this information gets released, because it's going to be an absolute madness. I honestly have no words for this. I didn't expect this to take place, but clearly this is what's happening.
Diddy has been denied bail twice and remains in jail awaiting trial. His defense team contends that the prosecution is unjust and that Diddy is not a criminal. However, the evidence against him is overwhelming.
Hey, I'm Hallie, and tonight we are learning in just the last few minutes that a federal judge is now refusing to grant Sean Diddy Combs bail. Instead, he's going straight to jail tonight after Diddy pleaded not guilty to charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. I want to show you some of these brand new court sketches coming into us, like literally in the last 90 seconds. This is Combs in court after prosecutors arrested him at a hotel in Manhattan. It's where he's apparently been living for weeks, according to what a person familiar with the move tells NBC News. All of it a tipping point now in that sprawling federal investigation into the superstar's alleged years of sex crimes dating back to 2009. As we're just getting in some new and deeply disturbing details about the allegations against him. And what looks like a massive criminal operation, allegedly. At least 50 victims and witnesses so far. And at the center of it, these hours and days-long sex acts known as, in their words, freak-offs that Combs supposedly orchestrated to abuse his victims.
The comparison to R. Kelly's case is inevitable, as both men allegedly used their power and influence to exploit and abuse others within the music industry. R. Kelly's conviction for racketeering, sex trafficking, and child pornography set a precedent that Diddy's case could potentially follow. The parallels between the two cases underscore a pervasive issue within the industry: the abuse of power by influential figures.
With the association between Sean Carter and R. Kelly and Diddy and R. Kelly, how didn't those two men come up in the Me Too witch hunts? R. Kelly, which everyone already knew was guilty. Been guilty. Why is no one from Me Too had anything to say about the diddler? Or Jay-Z for that matter. And we all know what came from the Me Too movement, the documentaries about Harvey Weinstein and Surviving R. Kelly, which was spearheaded by Dream Hampton, who has been a pet of Sean Carter for many years, and I know he funded it.
Jay-Z's been very quiet lately.
He's quiet and in a church mouse and on